Didi comes into the living room to find Tommy standing in front of the TV, staring at it. She pulls him away and then changes the channel from the fishing show Lou was watching. Lou, who was sleeping on the couch, demands to know why she turned his show off. And Didi apologizes and says she needs to watch Super Stumpers, and it's important for her as she is an adult. Stu adds Didi will be on the show that following day and will win the family a new dinette set. Lou concedes, but points out that Didi has been cramming day and night for her upcoming appearance, and she's already very intelligent. Didi is flattered, but according to Betty's advice, she must learn about her competition, discover its weakness, and attack it like a rabid junkyard Doberman. Super Stomper starts, and the host, Alan Quebec, introduces the contestants. One is a physics professor, and the other only claims that his job is genius. Alan begins to read off questions, and the genius, Edmund Haynes, answers them correctly, even before the host can finish the question. At the end of the show, Edmund has beaten the record of most points scored in an episode. He declares that he will beat the record again on tomorrow's show. Didi turns off the TV a bit, unsure of her standing in the show. Stu and Lou tell Didi that if she decides not to compete, it would be okay. Didi refuses, saying that game show glory will soon be hers. Later, Betty is running Didi through trivia drills and having her memorize facts from books. Tommy, Phil, and Lil wonder why their moms are surrounded by books. Tommy thinks that his mom is trying to find a bedtime story for herself. Later that evening, Didi has fallen asleep at the table. Stu wakes her up and advises that she go to bed. Didi says she will, but needs to put Tommy in his crib first. Lou tells Didi not to worry about what happens on the show tomorrow, then asks for her request a fancy tackle box if she wins. Didi is annoyed that the Pickles men just want prizes, and she leaves to get Tommy. Didi tucks Tommy into bed. Tommy gives her a cute smile, and Didi talks to him for a bit. She's glad that whatever happens on the show, Tommy won't mind. She says how she has never won anything before in her whole life, and thought she maybe had a chance on the Super Stompers. But after seeing Edmund Hayes on TV, she laments that she'll never find her place in the sun. Didi wishes Tommy good night. The next day, the adults bring the babies to the local TV station where Super Stumpers is filmed. Tommy tells Phil and Lil the reason Didi was acting strange is because she was trying to find her place in the sun. Phil and Lil are confused since being near the sun would hurt her. Tommy decides to help his mother find the sun so she can be happy. The babies escape from the studio and explore the TV station. After a while, they see a bright light. They think it's the sun and try following it, but it's just a studio light that gets wheeled away. The babies opt to split up to cover more ground. Meanwhile, the show begins. Alan Quebec introduces Edmund again, as well as the challenger, Didi. Didi is eager to start, but just like last night's show, Edmund correctly answers questions before Alan finishes asking them. However, Edmund trips up on a question about a torque wrench, and Didi answers correctly before he can. She starts gaining points. Tommy enters the master control room. There are monitors, buttons, and levers everywhere. A man who is monitoring the monitors is on his phone, not paying attention to the baby crawling over the control deck. Tommy sees an image of the sun on a monitor and tries to reach it, pulling levers and stepping on buttons. This causes the TV feeds to malfunction and things in the studio go haywire. One of the things affected is the trivia card machine on Super Stumpers. The machine spits out several cards at once and starts feeding Alan the cards every second. This causes the game to go into an involuntary lightning round, where Didi and Edmund answer the questions as fast as they can. Tommy accidentally overloads a control panel and causes the monitors to power off, distort, or explode, including the one with the image of the sun. Tommy meets back up with the twins, disappointed that he lost the sun. Stu manages to find the babies and brings them back to the studio, excited that Didi is about to win a prize. Eventually, Didi wins the game and match like Alan says, with a new record of over 1 million points, beating Edmund's record. Alan congratulates her and asks her to choose a prize. She ends up picking a gold-plated Dalmatian statue. Tommy sees Didi under a spotlight spray and thinks that this is the place in the sun she needed to find. Tommy happily toddles up to Didi and hugs her. Didi gives her son a kiss, and the audience cheers and applauds. The regular sun touches the technique. Stu, Didi, and Drew drop off Tommy and Angelica at the Kropkins' house so they can spend the weekend at the resort in the Bahamas while Boris and Minka, Didi's parents, can watch Tommy and Angelica. Tommy is glad about this, but Angelica isn't reluctant at first, complaining that they don't even have cable TV. However, noticing Boris's and Minka's belongings, she thinks that it won't be so boring after all. After Tommy and Angelica's parents leave, Boris complains about the excessive amount of baby stuff. Tommy and Angelica make a mess of things, breaking relics they mistake for toys. After feeling faint for a few minutes, Boris and Minka recover to put their things out of reach so the kids can't play with them for a while. Wondering what to do first, Boris first suggests that the kids can watch the Sesame Seed, but both Boris and Minka argue over who's going to turn on the TV. Feeling tired, Boris then suggests they all take a nap. Near their way to the attic, Tommy wonders what's up there. Angelica teases Tommy, saying that there's ghosts up there. Boris finds the parts to Didi's crib so that Tommy can rest on it and fall on it, but falls and hurts his schmegeg. As Boris fell, a ball bounces from the attic, and Tommy and Angelica are pretty thrilled. After Boris gets back up, he puts together the cure before he carries it downstairs. After Boris and Minka take the kids to Didi's old bedroom so they can take a nap, Boris says, "Don't let the Dybbuk's bite," to them, a reference to the malicious spirits of Jewish mythology. However, they aren't feeling very sleepy, and Tommy asks Angelica what a Dybbuk is. She replies, "It's kind of like a ghost, only scarier, and it lives on your bed." Mixing the notions of Dybbuks and bedbugs into one idea, Tommy jumps up in horror. Angelica suggests that since they're not tired, we should go to the attic to find the toys. Tommy wonders, where's Chucky when you need him? As the cousins go up to the attic, Minka checks Didi's bedroom to check on her little dumplings, finds that they've gone missing. As Boris goes outside and brings back the neighbor's children by mistake, Tommy and Angelica explore the attic, finding Minka's old dresses, Didi's baby pictures, and some dusty boxes. Finally, they find the toys and Angelica hands Tommy one of Didi's old rubber balls, but it bounces too far and ends up turning on the lights. At that moment, the attic becomes dark and everything around the Pickles' cousin seems scary. They are running around, also switches on an old gramophone, and the weird old music on the record sounds like ghost music to Tommy. Their screaming seems to make Boris look in the attic, but he becomes covered in a white sheet blown onto him by the wind. Tommy fights off this ghost to protect Angelica. Luckily, Minka turns on the light after hearing Angelica scream, and she finds the kids safe and sound. Also, they find Didi's old toys, Minka's dressmaker dummy, and a photo album of when Minka and Boris were younger. Four of them sit together, and Boris and Minka share the album with Tommy and Angelica, telling them about the stories behind each picture. A few days later, Stu, Didi, Drew, and Charlotte return from their trip to pick up the kids. When they arrive, Drew is very surprised to find that Angelica had really enjoyed their time there and hasn't minded the lack of TV cable after all.